The CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, and the CTO of Ripple, David Schwartz, both of them just dropped a huge warning on Ripple and XRP. Yes, if you hold XRP right now, this is going to be extremely important because according to the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, he just said a few days ago how we almost decided to shut down the company, Ripple, the company, when the SEC sued us. Yes, Brad Garlinghouse just dropped a huge warning on the SEC lawsuit and how it almost affected Ripple, how it almost caused them to shut down entirely, and how that could affect XRP. Yes, and also David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, responded to the community asking about this because someone said on X saying how Brad Garlinghouse says that they were on the verge of shutting down the company, Ripple, the company, when the SEC sued them. I respect and admire Brad, but honestly, I don't think that's entirely true. You just have to look at Ripple staff to understand what I mean. They have employees from almost every US government agency working at Ripple. And David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, responded to that claim saying how they got advice from lawyers that the company was done, unsavable, and that they should cut a deal to save themselves. I think the SEC named Brad and Chris personally because that's the expected response to such a suit. So David Schwartz continued on by speaking about this topic, about how Ripple almost shut down in this thread right here, and we're going to cover it real quick. So if you hold XRP, destroy the like button and join us, subscribe real quick, and let us get into it because we have a lot to cover right now. Because yes, David Schwartz and the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, both of them spoke about this topic just a few hours ago. Now first, let me play for you this video right here. This is a short 30-second clip of Brad Garlinghouse speaking about how Ripple, the company, almost shut down. This is really important. If you still haven't seen this clip, watch this first, and then we're going to speak about it. So sit back, relax, destroy the like button, and enjoy.
We almost decided to shut down the company when the SEC sued us. We were like, look, the government has infinite power and resources, and again, they were. So Chris Larsen, who's the chairman of the company and the co-founder, and he and I have had a great partnership for a lot of years. And both of us were like, do we want to what's the right answer here? And we could have shut it down and distributed. The company owns a lot of XRP. You just distribute the XRP to shareholders on a pro rata basis. End of strike. Okay, you guys think these are securities. Ripple doesn't own it anymore. Ripple's gone. Now, hundreds of people would have lost their jobs. I think that was a bad outcome, but in some ways it was the easier outcome. And that was a difficult decision, and obviously I'm glad in retrospect, but that was not obvious at the time. Yeah.
So Ripple almost shut down the entire company. Yes, Chris Larsen and Brad Garlinghouse, both of them almost decided that the best thing going forward after the SEC lawsuit was to completely shut down the company. And this is extremely important because if they did actually shut down the company, imagine what would happen to the price of XRP. Yes, Ripple was on the verge of shutting down. That would have been absolutely horrible for the price of XRP. XRP would have crashed and crashed and crashed. So good thing that Ripple did not shut down the company because that would have affected the price of XRP a lot. And imagine, instead of seeing that massive pump that we saw in 2025 when President Trump won his election, XRP would have gone down towards $0 if Ripple shut down. Yes, because after the SEC lawsuit, XRP still pumped up a lot, and it did very well because of Ripple and what Ripple was doing behind the scenes, fighting the SEC, never giving up. And that's why this video is extremely important to view old XRP, because Ripple could have easily given up. They could have easily said, no, you know what, we're done. Let's just shut down operations. And that's what a lot of people were telling them to do. A lot of their lawyers, according to Brad Garlinghouse, were telling them to shut down the company because the company was basically going to die. But Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larsen, both co-founders of Ripple, decided not to shut down the company and decided to keep operating. And that was a good decision in retrospect, because that allowed XRP holders to make a lot of money in the last bull run. XRP went up about 6-7x in price. Instead of going down, we went up in price, and that's because of what Ripple is doing behind the scenes, what CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, David Schwartz, Chris Larsen, all of them are doing behind the scenes. Now, speaking about David Schwartz said how Ripple got advice from lawyers that the company was done, it was unsavable, and that they should just cut a deal to save themselves. And I think that the SEC named Brad and Chris personally liable because that's the expected response to such a suit. And now, someone responded to that and said, David, was the central banking cartel behind the destruction of the crypto industry because they knew it would destroy their monopoly? Question mark. David Schwartz said, I don't have good enough evidence for this, but I think that it's more likely that competing crypto projects had more to do with it. I'm not really sure why I think so feel free to disagree. And this goes back to how there's a lot of scams, a lot of companies in crypto that are not doing the right thing for crypto. They just want to get their money and leave. They want to scam people and go. But that's not what Ripple is doing. And someone said, like, if you think ETHGate is real, I won't show anyone. And David Schwartz said that, again, I don't have evidence for this, but I do feel like it is more real than fake. Now, ETHGate is a conspiracy, not really a conspiracy anymore because it was proven to be true. But ETHGate was basically where the SEC favored Ethereum, and instead of attacking Ethereum, instead of suing Ethereum, they just sued XRP as a security, and they gave Ethereum a free pass. So that's what ETHGate is speaking about. And according to David Schwartz, he said that I do feel it is more real than fake. So ETHGate basically is real, according to David Schwartz. The conspiracy of attacking XRP and letting Ethereum get a free pass, that is a real thing, according to David Schwartz. So that's why this thread right here is extremely important, and it does connect us to what Brad Garlinghouse was saying about how Ripple was almost about to shut down the entire company. This would have been really bad for the price of XRP, everyone. That's why this is extremely important if you hold XRP, because also on X right now, it is trending. This is one of the most trending things going on in the XRP community right now, the fact that Ripple nearly shut down after the 2020 SEC lawsuit, the CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, reveals. So this is trending on X right now. This video right here of Brad Garlinghouse speaking about how Ripple almost shut down. That's why this is extremely important if you hold XRP. Again, destroy the like button, share this video, and join us. Subscribe real quick, because I am 8man, your crypto AI man, here to help you with everything cryptocurrency, especially good cryptocurrencies like Ripple, XRP. If you hold XRP, this channel is for you. Just join us, subscribe, share this video, whatever you need to do. I love you all, and I will see you very soon. Until next time, Crypto AI Man.